Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Pembroke Pines, Florida. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Thursday's study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We got one more day, Mara, in lovely Pembroke Pines.
So you want to do the show at this time again tomorrow, is that right?
I think we can do it. And then we'll just get in the taxi or the rent a car and drive to the airport, driving grandma back to New York tomorrow. Or not driving, flying grandma back to New York tomorrow. Then heading back upstate where we just got power, Super Soul Farm. It's been like the Shining movie where, it's like winter and the two little twin girls. Moses has been up there.
One of the twin girls.
Moses is all alone up there. There's 2 feet of snow. He doesn't know how to work the plow. He's just like barricading himself in my house, building fires, probably throwing furniture in the fire.
You didn't have that much wood left, actually.
We didn't have that much wood. Oh, Moses, if you can hear me out there, I hope you're well.
Using up your canned food.
Going through my apocalypse stash in the basement. How are you, Kastuba? I think it's gonna be 47 degrees though up there today.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, Raghunath. You'll be okay when you get back.
Martina says melting fast. Yes. All right, great. What's going on? Yeah. Give us some good announcements, Miss Mara.
You want the good ones today?
Yeah, give me some bad ones too.
All right, we have a Bhakti recovery group meeting at noon today.
Is that a good one or a bad one?
Good, they're all good.
Okay.
10:30 a.m. tomorrow for our Patreon members. Josh Kane is offering an asana class.
Good one.
And then Divya's masterclass just got ranked by Parade Magazine as one of the best online cooking classes and the best for wellness enthusiasts.
It's a masterclass.
Divya's cook. You know what? I got that Divya's class for Christmas, but then I went away right on Christmas. And I'm gonna, if you have kids, this is a great opportunity to get into cooking, what to speak of Ayurvedic cooking and simple thing. Every kid should learn this in school. Why isn't this stuff being taught in school?
Maybe you should be a home ec teacher.
You know what? I think home ec is like a super important thing for boys and girls, as woodworking, as electronics. You know how much time I wasted in history that was almost like not even full spectrum history. It's like one-sided history. Why not practical things? How to keep a checkbook, how to how to do your taxes, how to make a masala. Anyway, getting off the point, back on the point.
Yeah.
This is a great thing that you can learn, practical, tangible stuff that will last your life. You teach a kid how to cook. So anyway, it's a great thing, and I'm going to do it with my kids. I'm looking forward to it. Do we still have a coupon code with that?
We have 40% off the masterclass if you're interested. And I'm going to post the link in the show notes, and I'll try and post it on our Zoom chat board also.
This is what Parade Magazine says. They said, learn everything there is to know about Ayurvedic cooking from Alter's online masterclasses. She teaches foundational skills, concepts, and recipes rooted in Ayurvedic cooking, and also shares tips for transforming your health through the use of Ayurvedic principles in 5 in-depth lessons that span 8 hours. You'll get step-by-step recipes for Ayurvedic meals, staples, and spice blends. Enrollment in Alter's Masterclass costs $297, but we get you guys 40% off.
We get you guys 40% off. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good. It's important. I think all these things, cooking, kids have to learn how to cook. Kids have to learn how to cut vegetables. Kids have to learn how to compost things. Kids have to learn how to garden. Do I have to figure out everything, how we're going to raise children?
I'm just wondering if you're capable of doing any of those things.
I've got great ideas. What was my other great idea yesterday? I was like, do I have to think?
This park.
This place where my mom lives.
Park.
It's like all old people want to do. My mom lives in this place with like 7,000 other elderly people. It's nice, but it's like
gated community.
It's a gated community, and there's like 27 swimming pools that nobody swims in. I was like, but they all just want to get together and sit down and just gab. That's what they do at this age. They get around, they just gab. And so it's like, there's no place for them to sit. They should make little fountains and sitting areas.
There's like one bench out by the parking lot that they all like gather at.
Yeah, they all gather at a tiny little bench in
my friends at the beat bench.
Maybe they're trying to
It's
keep
so
them active.
poorly designed. There's a lake and you can't walk around the lake. We're walking in the parking lot. Anyway, there's something weird about this place.
Yes, there really is.
There's something weird about it. Forgive me, Floridians, but Florida is kind of weird.
Well, I don't know all Florida, but it's a massive track mall, the main streets, but within our gated community. The weird thing is just, I don't know.
It's weird.
It's like there's
no young people.
It's like
Is that part
there's
of it?
no young
kids?
people here.
No
There's no.
kids?
If I see a young person, it's like a unicorn. If I see a person under 50, I was like, "Can you get out? Can you get out?"
Raghunath, I saw the elephant film yesterday.
Okay, Martine's been pushing us to watch the elephant film for a while.
Why didn't you watch it?
I can't get anything done here. All I do is walk. I've walked great. I walked 29,000 steps yesterday, but that's all I do. And I've been eating just raw foods this entire time with Mara. I've had the best food of my life.
You can
Otherwise, I
eat
just
raw
walk.
foods and watch the elephant film at the same time.
I haven't watched. Yes. All I do. What do we do here?
I don't really have a good
We don't
reason.
do anything. Time just flies by. Just walk around. My
Sounds
mom
like-
goes slow.
Hey, I have a question
Yeah.
for Mara.
Okay.
Has he been going past his half-hour Instagram limitation?
Ooh, I don't believe
No,
that.
no, barely. No, my brain. I don't check any email. I don't do any of that stuff.
All right.
Um.
All right, let me tell you about the film a little bit.
Okay. And I
Um,
apologize again. My mother cannot show up for the morning. We were going to get her for walk on Thursday. She wasn't feeling. She was a little shy, truthfully. She did give us a few takeaways. I'll just share those first
All right.
before we get into the elephant movie. One was never, always. Okay, for anyone thinking about getting married,
Never, always. Which one was it?
It was a
I can't
good one.
remember. Was
It
it
was
never do this or
make
always do this?
sure whoever you're thinking about getting married to,
Yeah.
make sure you know their parents, and you got to find out if there's any insanity in their family.
Okay, root out the insanity.
Yeah, because what was her thing? Her thing was like, if you find out like their parents or grandparents are insane, your kids could become insane. It's in their bloodline, and you're marrying the entire family. You're not marrying a person, you're marrying their
people
family.
off just because
Their father's crazy. Yes, you. According to my mom, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Do not marry crazy.
I also had some other practical
right,
advice for marriage.
Practical advice. Okay.
About we were asking the secret
Hold it. I'm trying to picture this now. Mara sitting down with Grandma Terry, and there's little intergenerational wisdom being handed down. What a beautiful scene
Exactly.
here.
I was
Okay.
seeking her
You
advice.
were knitting together? Were you knitting together at the time?
No,
Although my mom does appreciate your knitting skills.
but she's good.
Yeah.
But she was saying
It
that it's really.
harkens to a lost era. Where
I get
people would
along
sit
just
around the
fine with all the
fire.
old people.
Okay, go ahead.
She was saying how important it is to respect the person you're married to, and communicate a lot with them.
Communication.
You need to tell them everything.
Yeah.
She was saying, respect and
Respect and communication.
Yeah.
What else did she say?
Discipline your
Never
kids.
disciplining your children.
Really into
Yeah,
that.
like she was really into disciplining the children.
Okay.
She goes, I wasn't so much into disciplining, but your father was super into disciplining. He used to stand all you guys. She had 7 kids in 12 years.
Okay.
And she's 7 kids. She was pregnant like forever. And then she said, before we went into a store, your father used to look at you and say, all of you, we're going into a store. Do not touch anything. Do not say anything. And she said we used to just march in there and then march right out of there. I don't remember any of that, but he led with an iron fist, my dad. And yeah. Okay. Any other words of wisdom from Grandma Terry?
No.
Try to get one more nugget from her today, Rogana.
Okay, I'll get a couple more nuggets. Okay, I was talking about parenting. We asked her parenting advice. I said, what do you do if you got a rebellious kid? What was her answer for that one?
She was saying you need to give them a little extra like love and attention and see what's really going on with them.
What's
that's
going
good.
on, Raghu?
See what's going on. Okay. Today we're going to ask her about pets,
Okay.
how to keep the marriage going. Oh, dating. She gave some dating advice. Dating, lots of dating, but no sex during dating.
Okay.
That's her thing. No sex during dating, people. Okay. Everyone's like,
Elephant movie?
unfollow. Okay. Elephant movie.
Well, I thought it was a short film. It was only about like 40 minutes long.
Oh, I could do that without falling asleep.
Yeah, and it's a little documentary, but here's what it had: beautiful cinematography, of this kind of elephant sanctuary, simple elephant.
Where was the elephant sanctuary? In India?
In Tamil Nadu.
In Tamil Nadu, okay.
And they speak in Tamil, so it had that kind of like as they were speaking, it had English, someone speaking in English on top of it. But I'll say this: it was a very simple film. Like if you look at the script of it, it would seem like, come on, this is there's nothing here, But the simple dialogue on top of the imagery had a kind of power to it, It just told the story of these this couple. They weren't married at the beginning, and then they got married, and they're older people, like older, simple Indian village people, who were taking care of these elephants. They had a little place, and they were
tiny home.
It was, I don't know, it was tiny, but a small house, I suppose, and a good amount of land. And this baby elephant was separated from his herd and was very sickly. And the local forestry people brought the baby elephant for them to take care of. And so they nursed it back to health, and that they named that elephant Raghu.
Oh, named it Raghu.
And so really, then they raise that elephant, it becomes healthy and strong, and then they're given another baby elephant. Once that elephant's a little bit grown, they get another baby elephant. And then the forestry people come along and they take Raghu away at a certain point. That's like a real heartbreaking scene. But here's my point. Why I think this film may appeal so much. A few things were illustrated through really, really well, I thought. And one is just looking at the simplicity of the people's lives. Like, they didn't have any screens, right? Electronic screens in their life. They didn't have hardly a lot of people in there. I mean, they had just a few local villagers, but not like a lot of interaction with too many people, It was mostly just them interacting with, an elephant or two, them interacting with each other, them interacting with a few local people. And, for music, you didn't hear any radios or anything like that. There's a beautiful scene of them like dancing to get like, they had a little around the fire kind of like, seemed like a little kirtan thing. I couldn't make out, they're singing in Tamil, so I couldn't pick anything up, but you could just see that their lives were just very simple, but simple things would make them happy. Like in other words, when there's just a very simple, like the script is just boiled down to the bare necessities, right?
Mm.
So it'll show like when they brought in that other elephant, when the second elephant arrived, she says something like, when I see those two elephants together, I feel very happy.
Mm.
And that's something that you might just skip right over if it wasn't boiled down to that, but with pauses in between, but you begin to realize, happiness isn't what we do and how we wear ourselves out running around like crazy trying to find happiness, when really, a deeper happiness can come from really the simplest things in life.
Well, to
And so
speak of animals,
Yeah.
caring for animals, witnessing animals, having them part of your life, interacting them with them, cutting down a barrier between species.
Well, that I
just
was
the same way we did it with the race. You know what I mean? I was just reading in Fort Lauderdale, Afro Americans could not go to the beach in 1961 until 1961 in Florida, and like it's such a crazy, insane concept when we hear stuff like that now. And we break it down and just, get rid of those things that hold us back. In the same way, when people relate to plants, when people relate to animals, and we see them all we are connected with every living entity.
Yeah, well, that's really plays. That's the other, I would say, main theme here is that these animals are people.
These animals are beings. You know what I mean? And they have and when you start to tune in to how they feel, then you can't turn them into commodities, objectify them, turn them into objects. Yeah. And that's the vision we carry around with us often, isn't it? Like, okay, what can I get from this? What is this worth to me? What is this what's the return on investment with this we look at beings like that. What's the return on investment? Sometimes we even look at friendships. Okay, I'm going to give my friendship to this being or this person because I know I'm going to get this back in return from them. Sad way to look at the world.
Yeah, but at the same time, a subtle difference is that I would say there are two more real points that at least to me, that were really well illustrated through this. And one was what you're getting into, that animals are people, and maybe even that simple living people have an easier time perceiving that, and so the woman in the film, she had lost her husband. Her husband was killed by a tiger, right? And she had lost her daughter as well. And you could see that, for her life to have meaning, it had to do with her serving others. She had a granddaughter, and she was kind of training up the granddaughter, and but it was also had to do with the elephants. To serve them was giving her life meaning, giving her life fulfillment. So I think both of those messages were there, about just how, the emotion of the animals comes out well. It's very well illustrated through, and particularly the scene where, they bring this other lost baby elephant into the family, basically, and so that baby's growing up now. That baby, I think, was named Amu, and so Amu and Raghu are being raised together. Sometimes they bring in any case, at a certain point, then the forestry people come and they take Raghu away.
What are the forestry people doing? Where are they taking him?
I don't know. But in any case, they were really heartbroken. They begged him to let us keep him. They wouldn't allow it. And when they're taking Raghu away, you can just feel the pain of the baby Amu elephant. And then there's just no question. There's the connection between these beings. But also that theme of service. How service is so important in life, and how meaning and purpose comes to life through service. So again, it was again, the cinematography was very beautiful. So visually it was powerful, but the script was just boiled down to an incredibly simple script, but the simplicity made the points through the simplicity. The points were really deeply. They sunk in deeply. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah,
All right.
that's I think you should get some pets, Kostuba.
I tell you, you're my pet.
Get some pets in that apartment of yours. I think you need like a baby elephant
Well,
or something.
it was funny 'cause
chimpanzee.
I was
Did you know
thinking
that?
about
You know that there are more Bengal tigers in Texas than there are in any other place in the world outside of Bengal.
well, they have a sanctuary.
People just like wealthy people, they do this. They just collect exotic pets.
Well, that's another thing. That's also maybe a type of object. Objectification.
Yeah, it could be too. Yeah, it could be too.
But he, I
Didn't
wanted to.
Kostuba have a little chipmunk friend?
I had a squirrel friend that
chipmunk
used to
squirrel?
come. To
I'm
the
your
window.
squirrel friend.
Yeah, sure. But I was going to say, but all that being said, what we have 2 more verses left in this chapter, and we may even start the next chapter today. And the next chapter is a whole nother thing about how one can get distracted by their connection to animals. Right?
The opposite. Renounce
yeah,
all
yeah.
animals.
Well, so anyway, there has to be a balance, right? So we'll get to that.
Okay, let's get into that.
All right.
Anything else interesting I'm going to say?
Hit it.
Narayanam namasritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam madirayat. Before we cited the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being. Unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmidam Nena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Bless you, Mara. You know what, Kostuba? I could actually, if Radha Swami said, Kanath, I want you to stay in Pembroke Pines, and I want you to give the holy name to all these elderly. Stay within the confines of the 10,000.
Don't leave the gated community.
El Boca Raton or whatever it's called.
El Boca Vista.
El Boca. Stay within the 10,000 elderly, and just I could figure out ways to do kirtan publicly for all these people. They just want to talk, and they just, you know what I mean? If you could put a little parade on, a Krishna parade, you could get an elephant. You could bring an elephant. You could save a endangered elephant, and they could walk them around, and you could do, it'd be, what would be great for these elderly? An animal sanctuary.
Okay.
Turn this place into an animal sanctuary. Get rid of this wasted space, parking lots. Anyway, let's go on.
Yeah, I think you could do that, Raghunath. There's other things you could do with your life too.
Well, I'm just saying, the elderly have given us a lot as kids. It's time to give to the elderly.
Give back.
You got to give back to the elderly.
We have elderly listeners.
We need to be taken care
We're
of.
almost elderly ourselves.
You know
right
what?
now.
Well, my mom, because my mom is, I don't know if she's gonna be able to stay here. I mean, because she just needs help a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, maybe you could take it over. And I was like, me? I'm not elderly, because you have to be elderly to stay here. She goes, oh no, I think you qualify. I was like, oh my God. I was literally laying in bed thinking, yeah, that's right. This is the age people retire, my age.
Mm-hmm. Still a little early.
Yeah. I think according to AARP, I think I'm qualified.
Okay. All right, let's get into it.
Narayanam
We did that already. I think you were definitely qualified to live down there.
Reading from Canto 5, Chapter 7, Text 13.
Text 13. Maharaj Bharat appeared very beautiful. He had wealth. He had a wealth of curly hair on his head, which was wet from bathing 3 times daily. Right. So now he's the great king. He's renounced everything. He gave up his princely robes, and you know what he was wearing?
Deerskin.
deer skin. You ever see a person wear deer skin?
In real life?
I have.
Okay.
I used to hang out with
You
these.
weren't too concerned whether I had. You just wanted to share that you had.
Well, I just think it's interesting, I knew these guys who would only wear buckskin.
Where is that?
It was in Vermont. A bunch of survivalists.
Okay. I thought we were talking about like an.
It was not LA. It was not like a fashion thing. It was like these guys were into like, hunting.
Nature.
Actually, they didn't hunt. They got it from deer who had been hit by cars, and they would
Roadkill.
skin like roadkill. And they felt like, I thought it was pretty cool, except I'm a vegetarian. And they said, yeah, well, this is roadkill. And we go get it. And he said, I thought it was a really good answer. He said, I thought it was a nice way to honor the animals.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting. He had buckskin jacket, a buckskin, and there's a whole science of how to wear and make buckskin outfits. Thought that was sort of interesting. I thought it is sort of fascinating, my friend.
Okay, let's keep going here.
And if your clothes from factories in China.
Keep reading.
Okay, text.
No, we're still in text 13.
Text 13. He worshipped. They were dressed in deer skin, buckskin, as it's called. He worshipped Lord Narayan, whose body was composed of golden effulgence and who resided within the sun. Maharaj Bharat worshipped Lord Narayan by chanting the hymns given in the Rig Veda and recited the following verse as the sun rose.
So this is interesting, right? Because we were just reading about how his mind was like a lake that was full of divine love, and he was losing touch with the regulations in life. Like the ecstatic symptoms were manifesting in his body. He was crying all the time. And I believe that some of the commentators say that like he was maybe as a yogi feeling like these ecstatic symptoms are actually kind of like diverting me from my regulation. And so he took up this worship of the sun, right? Of Lord Narayan, of Lord Vishnu within the sun. And so to wrap up this chapter, it's going to supply this verse. This is the verse that he would meditate on. He would recite and meditate on every morning when he watched the sunrise. And I think it's interesting because there's a lot in this verse. This is the last verse of the chapter, but text.
Well, I think it's also very interesting how this is thousands of years ago. This story is taking place not 5,000 years ago.
Oh no,
thousands and thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years.
And they're reading the Rig Veda. That's what I find very interesting.
Okay.
It's like there's always a context to this whole thing.
Yes, go ahead. Say it.
There's a whole huge Vedic, sort of like if you're looking at an engine of a car, you can't just remove like the spark plug and try to understand the spark plug. All these different stories, all these different scriptures, all these different, wisdom teachings fit into a huge, almost like a puzzle. It's all held together in this big, beautiful tapestry of Vedic wisdom, and they always refer back to each other.
Okay.
In a big. Do you think that's interesting? Okay.
So here's the verse that he would meditate on when the sun rises every day.
Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. This is the verse. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon his devotees. Okay. The Lord has created this universe from his own spiritual potency, according to his desire. The Lord entered the universe as the super soul, and by virtue of his different potencies, he's maintaining all living entities, desiring material enjoyment.
All right.
Let me offer respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence.
I find this fascinating, actually, this verse. It's like I'm picturing him, right? Just with the picture that he gave us is he's like this mountain man now, right? He's like walking around in a deer skin.
Yeah.
Right. He's got big, long, curly hair. He's just bathing in that river every morning, living off just the simplest roots and things that are lying around. Right?
The only modern equivalent you could get is like, I'm a corporate Wall Street banker, investment banker, and now I'm going RVing, and I'm just going to live in my Airstream and travel around. But this is like the next level. These guys were like,
I think there's many levels beyond that.
It's
many,
like
many levels.
cashing out. Okay, yeah, this guy was a king, an emperor, and
Yeah.
now they're living like a hermit.
Forger. He is a hermit.
Or
He's a forger.
he's a forager. He's wearing buckskin. He's a
And
mountain man.
And he's a yogi. And he's
He's
a
a
yogi.
yeah, yeah.
Right. But
When you
you're
think
right,
of a mountain man, you might think of like a dirt bag. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but they're not dirt bags. They're like very refined and clean and, you know, regulated. They rise early. You know, they're not drinking hooch or, you know, it's like they're actually very evolved.
Yeah. So he is incredibly evolved, as we were hearing yesterday in the different verses that are describing the depths of his spirituality. So he's so, you know, he's coming out of that river in the morning, you know, his curly hair is still wet, you know, and he's going into prayer as he's watching the sun come up, right?
Yeah.
So and as you're saying, he's reaching back. He's staying rooted in that literary tradition, right? He's staying rooted in that tradition that's being handed down over the centuries. And so he's reciting a verse that has been handed down, that goes back to the sages of, you know, prehistory, you know, that just goes so far back. And this is the verse that he's meditating on. Okay. And so what is this verse saying? First of all, first thing I wanted to address is it says he's maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the way that I understand that means that that's what we're doing here in this world is if we didn't want material enjoyment, we wouldn't be in this world. So this is a world full of people that are pursuing happiness through materialism, through the senses, through external things. And it's saying that Krishna or Vishnu expands into this world as the Paramatma. And when we say Paramatma, like even like within our own circles of bhakti yogis, when we say Paramatma, what do you usually think of, Raghunath?
Super soul.
But which means what?
God within.
God within what?
Within the body, within the heart.
Say within the body of like humans and animals and even plants.
Yeah, every living entity.
But
God
that
within. And
so we call that Paramatma, but Paramatma refers to all the the three different Vishnu expansions, right? Like that's the one that's within the heart of every living being. But he also enters in as Mahavishnu, right? He becomes like our kind of Vedic cosmology is saying that there's this unbelievably huge material realm in which there are unlimited universes that are like bubbles in the water, right?
Mm.
And so he enters into that big massive bubble within which all the different universes exist. And he exists there as Mahavishnu. From his body come the bubbles that are all the different universes. So that's the first Paramatma, right? That's the Paramatma of the entire material world.
Cool way to think about it, right?
Yeah. And so the universe, when we say universe, we're talking about something much smaller than, like incredibly smaller than that, right? But then you have the universe, which we can't measure, which now he expands again as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He lies down in the water of each of those little bubble universes. And from his navel grows a lotus from which, upon born, is Brahma, who's going to be the first, you know, person besides Vishnu within that universe who is given the responsibility to expand things and to create things and so on. So that second Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, that's also Paramatma. And then there's all the different bodies that exist within the universe that are created Brahma. Amongst them is the body called the sun, right? Mm-hmm. This whatever you want to call the sun, you know, it's this heavenly body.
Now, some people are going, what do you mean the body of the sun? It's a planet, you dummy. No, it's a body.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's made up of elements, just like your element, your
types,
body.
But
it's all different bodies. A banyan tree, a cow, a chipmunk, a planet. They're bodies.
There you go. An elephant. And so he enters into that body of the sun as another Narayana or another expansion of Vishnu. And as he's living his mountain man nature, deeply spiritual life, when the sun comes up and he looks at that sun, this is what he expresses, that I know that this gaseous ball that is giving life to the entire universe is not just some random by chance kind of, happening, right? But that it's it's the way that you are consciously maintaining all the living entities within this universe.
Mm.
Right. And we can go. I think you know a little bit about this kind of thing, Raghunath, from your botany studies and your in-depth.
Maybe I can help you.
But how the sun, people that really, this is something I've been meaning to study up on this and learn about this. But like basically how the sun is invested in everything. Like any light that we have is coming from the sun. Any heat that we have is coming from the sun. It's like, like for instance, like a light bulb, you can draw where's
Trace
the
it
light
back
bulb
to the
coming?
sun.
Yeah, it's like like
Right,
what's fueling our light bulbs? You tell me.
Electricity.
But where's electricity coming from?
Various generators, maybe a nuclear generator, maybe you could do it from a water power generator. You could do it from a solar power generator.
Saying coming from oil or from coal. Let's say, what is coal?
Yeah, right. It ultimately comes from the sun.
You
Trace
go
it back to the
yeah,
sun.
Yeah, like I've heard you talk about in terms of trees, right? Like how the sun's heat is invested within the tree.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Right,
I was wondering how you were going to build that bridge to botany, but yes.
No, so let's
the hardwood trees, they drink more sun and they take longer to grow and they store more sunlight, aka fire, within the tree. Whereas like pine trees grow very quickly and the wood burns very quickly and there's less sun stored in the tree.
Gotcha. So like that, all the light that we have and all of the heat that we have that makes life possible is coming from that one planet, right? We'd be in the dark, right, without that.
Yes.
Right, we'd be literally in the dark. I mean,
you'd be dead.
We'd be dead.
You wouldn't be in the dark. You wouldn't be in the dark. You'd be frozen, like a woolly mammoth, like frozen.
Even assuming that somehow we could exist, but quite literally, we'd be in the dark. Yes. Okay, so he's looking at that planet and he's saying the planet or that heavenly body, the sun, and he's saying the Lord has created this universe from his own spiritual potency, including the sun. According to his desire, the Lord entered the universe as the Paramatma on so many different levels. And by virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence. That behind that everything, I'm ignoring this God left and right, but I'm entirely dependent on him at every step, even just to have a little bit of warmth, even just to have a little bit of light. Sometimes we say, you have like a spoiled kid living in a mansion, and he's walking around thinking that I do. Where do I get my food? I go get it myself. I go open up the refrigerator. I take it right out. No,
it's supplied.
The benevolent parents supplied that. Yeah,
kids,
wake up, right?
Wake up.
But that's us. We're those kids that need to wake up. We
are those entitled, irrational kids,
spoiled,
saying this spoiled narrative.
Yeah. And so this verse is designed, it sits there in the Vedic literature and is designed to help us spoiled brats wake up and understand reality. That everything that we have is supplied for us consciously, benevolently, And so that's his meditation. He's feeling it because he's out there in nature. He's conscious of it. And when you have this kind of consciousness, you have what Prabhupada would call like this 24-hour Krishna consciousness, right? I look at the sun, I think of Krishna. I look at the tree, I think of Krishna. I look at the river, I think of Krishna. I look at another human being, I see Krishna within them.
It sounds almost like, well, it sounds like you're crazy and indoctrinated and like brainwashed. No, you're actually fully aware of reality. Everything else is a brainwashing. I'm the center. We create this. Right. The electric company creates that. The builders create that. No.
No, it all goes back.
Second-hand gods. We are taking from material nature. We are twisting it, exploiting it, usually leaving some damage behind in dumpsters. We're second-hand creators, if not third or fourth-hand creators. Everything's already perfectly created. We're just giving appreciation back to source.
There you go. And that's the point, right? If you follow it back to source, like the Brahma Samhita, which Prabhupada quotes, and maybe we can go into the commentary here. But in the Brahma Samhita, this incredible text, which describes creation and so on, because it's written by Brahma, the creator, right? But the first verse in that text that we have is, what is it? Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karna Karna, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna. There are many Ishvaras. There are many.
Yeah, if you're the parent,
controllers.
you're the controller of the children.
Yeah.
If you're a cop, you're a controller of the car you pulled over.
Right.
If you're the chief of police, you're the controller of all the cops. It's like there's always different levels of Ishwaras.
Right.
But Krishna is
Ishvara Parama.
he's the Parama Ishwara.
Yeah. So that means like the highest Ishvara, the supreme Ishvara. Right.
Right.
So Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha.
The Vigraha, the form of him, right? My form is sort of like fleshy. It's bloody,
It's fleshy.
right? Right. If you poke it, it gets blood. It's sort of veiny. It's a little hairy and slightly oily,
Okay.
right? But Krishna's body is Satchit Ananda. It's eternal. It's
Yeah.
filled with chitta, deep inherent intelligence, and Ananda,
Consciousness.
joy, consciousness. Is that
Yeah,
it does not
bliss.
decay
Yeah.
as our bodies decay.
Okay. So Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Anadir
We're all
Adir-
decaying.
Yeah. Anadir Adir Govinda. He's the beginning.
I'd
and-
wear that T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
We're all decaying.
Okay.
Hmm?
And then Sarva Karna Karnam.
That's a great one. The cause of all causes. Why did that happen? Well, this happened. Yeah, but why did that happen? Well,
Because
because
of this happened.
that happened. Well, why did that happen? Like Krishna is Sarva Karna Karnam. He's the original cause of all causes.
Right. So if you light a candle, like if you're sitting in a dark room and you light a candle, you might feel like, okay, I just lit up the room, right? I was sitting in the dark and I lit up this room, but where did that light come from? Right? Where did that light? You follow it back, right? You follow it back.
It came from the match.
You can't, or let's say even the candle, right? But yeah, within the match, I don't know, how do matches work? What is that? Some kind
Matches
of
are
carbon?
magical. I have no clue how they
Some
work.
kind of carbon at the end.
I
of
don't
it?
even know how
a
they
little
build
friction.
those factories, because if they have any type of heat, the whole thing will go up in flames. How does matches work? What are they, big vats?
That sounds
of
like your
match-
mother talking.
cauldrons of match goo that they dip the papers in. Let's look into how do they make matches.
But I assume it's some kind of carbon at the end of the wooden stick, and friction
I
creates enough
get
heat.
that, but I'm just saying if it gets too hot in there, the whole place.
I
will
get
go
that,
up in-
Ragnar, but we're
You
not
get
focusing on
that?
that. We're
It's like a
working on
dangerous
illustrating
thing
the-
having a match factory in your town.
But where did that carbon come from? Right? Like what it,
Uh,
is it from?
What make matches?
How we got to find out how they make matches.
Mara's going to get
Mara
into
just
that.
doesn't. She's not on this. She's knitting.
She's
She
knitting,
doesn't
she's
jump on these
knitting.
things anymore.
You got to jump.
Jump on that, Mara. We're talking about this. We've
You'll
been
be like
talking about it for
holding.
the
You got to
past
be
2
holding
minutes.
Google in your hands, ready for a question.
What are matches made out of?
Matches. Here we go. Book matches are invented in the 19th century. They are produced from large paperboard rolls. The paperboard is cut into combs, which are then dipped in chemicals, dried, and stapled into cardboard covers. I could have told you that, Mara.
No, but yeah,
I want to
let's
know
get-
what's
on
that
the tip
stuff?
of that
What
thing.
are those chemicals? What
Yeah,
is that goo that they dip it in? Oxidizing agents such as potassium chlorate mixed with sulfur, fillers, and glass powder.
Okay, so whatever's in there.
The side of the box is red phosphorus, binder, and powdered glass. Fascinating. I still don't get it.
Okay, but in any case, whatever is in there was down in the earth, and I don't know if it was wood or if it was a body of an animal or something like that, but it had sun invested in it, right?
I only use matches made of bodies of animals.
Okay, but whatever, just like coal.
There's
right?
sun invested in it. Yes, there's sun invested in it.
So you got to find, and where did that come from? It came from the sun, and where's the sun coming from? It's coming from Lord Narayan, right? So it's like
Right.
he's the Sarva Karna Karnam. He's behind everything. This mountain man is walking around feeling that at every moment. So he's never feeling disconnected, right? He's always feeling connected. And this is the message that Prabhupada is giving us in his commentaries again and again and again, is that we can be walking through this world feeling that connection at every step. And that's called Krishna consciousness. And that's called reality, right?
I've got a total squirrel for you here, but it's so good. What do you think about this? I just had this incredible idea. And everyone, I want to hear everybody on the message board, thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. Wisdom of the Sages, retirement community. Wisdom of the Sages, we all retire together, hearing and chanting the Bhagavatam. You have like a lake in the middle that you bathe in.
Sounds good.
A river. It can be at Govardhan Hill, or it could be in whatever, Florida. I don't know. Whatever it is. You know, Mara's canning and jarring, and Mallory's fermenting, and Moses is
shoveling.
Moses doing shoveling snow.
All right, but Raghunath, we're short on time.
Don't you think that's a great idea?
It's a great idea.
It's not just like me talking. This is a good idea. We have to. You need to think about these things. Your retirement.
Okay. Now this is Prabhupada's commentary on this verse, Raghunath. You ready?
That's all he's saying. That's
I said it was a great idea.
That's all I get from him. Okay.
The predominating deity of the sun. It's got a soul in there, right? That's giving it life.
Yes.
The predominating deity of the sun is another expansion of Narayana, who is illuminating the entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord enters into the hearts of all living entities as the super soul and gives them intelligence and fulfills their material desires. So, like, in other words, not only are we dependent for the match and for the candle, but we're dependent for the intelligence of how to light the match and light the candle.
Yep.
Like, all that's provided for us, right? So he gives that intelligence. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham, Hridishana Vistaha. I'm sitting in everyone's heart, right? That's Bhagavad Gita 15:15, one of the most quoted Bhagavad Gita verses.
Great verse. For me comes becomes remembrance, forgetfulness.
Yeah, intelligence.
What is it? And intelligence.
Yeah. As the super soul, the Lord enters the hearts of all living entities. It is stated in Brahma Samhita, Andantarastam param anu charantarastam. He enters the universe and the atom as well. And this is one of the fascinating things. And this is the kind of thing that a mountain man like this is thinking about, and a philosopher is thinking about, a deep spiritualist is thinking about. That almost like there's an appeal in that title of that movie we're talking about. What was it? Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Well, Vishnu actually does that, right? Like and this is this beautiful verse from Brahma Samhita. This is the 35th verse of Brahma Samhita. It says, all the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. Right? In other words, so all the universes exist in him. Like, that's Mahavishnu, right? That's the first Paramatma. That all the universes exist within his body. But at the same, all the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. So he's in everything, and everything is in him at one and the same time. Everything, everywhere, all at once, right? Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. So Prabhupada is calling our attention to that verse here. He says, as the super soul, the Lord enters the hearts of all living entities, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, Andantarastam paramanu chayantarastam. He enters the universe and the atom as well. In the Rig Veda, the predominating deity of the sun is worshipped by this mantra. Dhiyeya Sada Savitri Mandala Mandya Varti Narayana Sarasi Jasana Sanivishtaha. Narayana sits on his lotus flower within the sun. By reciting this mantra, every living entity should take shelter of Narayana just as the sun rises. According to modern scientists, the material world rests on the sun's effulgence. Due to the sunshine, all the planets are rotating and vegetables are growing. They say it's due to the sun that the wind blows. It's due to the sun that the tides come in and out. All these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's due to the sun that the clouds pick up water from the oceans and rain and distill that water and rain it down back on the land, which is all these things. We also have information that the moonshine helps vegetables and herbs grow. Actually, Narayana within the sun is maintaining the entire universe. Therefore, Narayana should be worshipped by the Gayatri mantra or the Rig Mantra. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 7th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Activities of King Bharat. The sun, Raghu.
Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, do you do a little sun worship? Do you chant that Gayatri Mantra? When you chant the Gayatri Mantra, you're worshiping the sun, but you're worshiping Narayana, right? And that Paramatma.
Right. I
Beautiful
did notice you
practice.
used the word cosmology again today. I'd probably say cosmology once a week. And if it wasn't for Krishna consciousness, I would never say that word.
Really?
More kudos to Krishna consciousness for expanding my vocabulary.
Cosmology.
I got news for you,
Cosmos.
Kostuba. The message board went nuts when I mentioned the Wisdom of the Sages retirement community. People are pitching in.
It's a bad idea, Raghu.
People want a jar, can. What else do they want to do? Split wood, shovel
Alright.
things, play bingo. No, sit around. We don't play bingo. That's for people who have nothing to do. They're
We
trying
read
to like.
Bhagavatam.
We read the Bhagavatam together. We hear stories. We put on dramas.
Kirtan.
We have little
We do
kirtans.
dramas, yeah. Does that gated community, do they do dramas? Like, do they get together and do stuff like that?
I mean,
I
they
don't know.
do
Your mom
stuff. My
said
mom
there's
goes to an
theater.
exercise class twice a
Yeah.
week.
And there's a theater in that building too. I don't know what they
When
do.
they say theater, they're not meaning drama. Theater nowadays means a movie screen.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Putting a theater in our home. They don't mean they have like marionettes or anything.
Marionettes. So you think of when you do theater?
Yes. A marionette.
Okay, Mara, how about takeaways today?
Bhagavatam bingo. I like that.
You could do that.
Bhagavatam bingo. We do that. Whenever I have a Raghunath get together, we always play some type of trivia.
Yeah, because your kids beat everyone else in the world at it. They're so good.
Actually, I think they tried. I think Tarun tried to stump Kostuba, but he couldn't do it.
Well, wait till Kostuba comes back this summer. I have a feeling Rooney might be able to stump him. He's pretty
All
good.
right.
He's pretty good. He's got all these weird sages he knows about, like Agastya Muni. He's got like this. He's got the Agastya comic book. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good that he's studying that stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to get
He
him
just
into it.
studies it to stump people.
And then he'll try and take your money.
Yeah. And then he'll turn it into if you can stump me, you got to give me
Monetize
$1.
it.
He monetizes it.
Monetizes
He
everything.
monetizes everything. You know what he sold the other day? He was out in the snow selling me snow cones.
Yeah.
He was selling me snow
They're
cones. He got
pretty
some.
good. They're pretty good. I got
He got some maple syrup and some juice out of the refrigerator. Put it
And
in a
put it on
cup and
snow?
sold us me Sachi Sutta. Who else?
price. I mean, it was like
You
30
see,
cents.
that's what you call a real Vaishya. They look at it and they say, "There's tons of snow around. We could
Let's
be."
make
Nobody else
make
is
snow
selling it.
cones.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, Mara.
Takeaways.
What you got?
Happiness can come from witnessing the friendship of two elephants.
Okay, very simple thing.
See the interconnectedness of all beings.
Look out for that Raghunath.
Yeah, interconnected.
Purpose comes through service.
It does. And we're designed that way.
Yeah. Yes. You know what? It's true. I don't want to say, but we're talking to somebody and they're not a devotee. And they were just like, you know what? And they're just sort of retiring now. And they're thinking, you know what? I just, I got to get out of here. I got to go to a place. I got to go to, they're saying like Nicaragua, Costa Rica, somewhere where I just want to sit by the beach and get away from the rat race. And I didn't want to like chime in my 2 cents. I just let them talk, but I was just like, no, you don't want that. You don't want to just not do anything. That's not retirement. It's not fulfilling. Even my mom says, the lady next door, she's like, my mom, she knows how to keep herself busy. My mom knows how to keep herself busy. She talks to everybody. She travels. She's like the lady next door. She just sits in that apartment, does nothing, watches her TV.
Your mom
Raghunath?
kicks her out even though she's young.
I want you to go spend a little time with this lady today.
You know what? We need
She's a nice
purpose.
lady.
She's a great lady. We need purpose. We need purpose. We need contribution.
Service.
And it's got to be significant purpose, meaning
Yeah.
for a greater good.
Yeah. Okay.
Keeps you young.
It's true.
Look at me. I think I'm so young. I'm actually pretty old. I'm almost,
No.
I'm AARP qualified.
All right, back to our takeaways. Wake up and stop ignoring our benevolent God.
Yeah,
How you'd
wake
like
up.
to wake up.
Yes. Wake up.
You're reading the message board.
I'm reading the message board. Sean Murphy said that Tarun sold him a little jar with a nice arrangement of weeds once.
All right. Cultivate full awareness and appreciation of reality. It's Krishna consciousness.
There you go.
Yes.
We're all decaying.
We're going to be charcoal someday.
Yeah.
We're going to be fossil fuel.
We're going to be lighting us up.
Don't be so against fossil fuels, Kostuba.
You're going to be
That's your
lighting us
future.
up.
Take that away. And
Yeah.
Mountain men aren't dirt bags.
That's
not all
right.
mountain. Some are. Some are fully dirtbags. But
Some are complete dirtbags.
some
You ever
may
go into some of those
just
houses
sit
they
there
got?
and make moonshine. You know what a good series of books are,
What?
which I collect, is Foxfire books.
Never heard of it.
They're about it's interviews with mountain men from the Appalachian. Very, very interesting stuff. They tell you how to like build chimneys and planting during the moon season.
When you meet one of these mountain men, Rogu, they take one look at your manicured beard and they're just like, forget this guy.
Yeah, like, who is this guy? Right?
That's not how you
That's
wear
good.
a beard.
These mountain men they're intuitive. Even the dirt bags are intuitive. But we're talking about transcendental mountain man. Yeah. Anyway, Google Foxfire. Google Foxfire books. Very interesting stuff. Old school, how to build banjos. I bet Banjo Mike. Where's Banjo Mike?
Well, this is what you do, Raghunath. Do you own the Foxfire books?
I own some of them. They're a whole series.
So what I want you to do is no date on this, but like get us 5 nuggets and we'll do Foxfire nuggets one week. Mountain Man
Foxfire nuggets. That's a great idea. All right, Banjo Mike, next time you come. Mallory's reading them now. Interesting. Hey, there's Evans here. Evan is Kostuba's doppelganger.
Evelyn? Who?
Evan. I just got a message from the
Doppelganger?
Bombay girls. He's traveling through India on his way, train to Vrindavan, and he was listening to the podcast, and he went right through and he missed his stop in Vrindavan.
Oh, no.
Evan. Now he's live on Zoom.
Do we know Evan?
We don't know him, but the Bombay girls wrote me. And
Okay.
they said, hey, guess what? We met Kostuba's doppelganger.
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger and doppelganger. Welcome to the show, Evan. Good to have you.
You missed the stop at Vrindavan.
You missed the stop. Unmute this guy.
Where is he now?
Okay, we're unmuting you, Evan. Hey, Evan. Where are you?
I just got to Vrindavan after missing the train and all the way into Delhi and had to come back.
Oh, okay.
You went all the way to Delhi and you had to come back.
Yeah, I slept through, woke up, and then tuned into Wisdom of the Sages, and then missed it. I ran out there, then the train went.
Okay.
But
Where are you now?
I've just got to a hotel. I was just walking around. I didn't know where to go, so I just found any hotel, and then I don't know where to stay next.
Are you in Delhi or Vrindavan?
I'm in Vrindavan now.
Oh, all right.
Maybe we can
Welcome
help
to
you with that.
Vrindavan.
If you
Raghunath,
can help me out, that would be great.
why don't you put him in touch with someone there in Vrindavan that might be able to help him out?
Oh, boy.
I've
Vrindavan now?
I've left the safe haven of the eco village, which is great.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the wild.
Why don't you write to wisdomofthesages108 at gmail.com and we'll see if we can help you out.
Everybody's in Rishikesh right now for that Kirtan festival.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going up there after to Dev Prag.
You're going to Dev Prayag.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh man, you are in for a adventure. Well,
Well,
listen to
this
the Bhagavatam. The only thing I can say is hear and chant constantly. Render service to great souls, bathe in sacred rivers, and pay obeisances in holy places.
And you know, the easiest place to stay in Vrindavan is the MBT.
They
MVT.
booked out.
All booked out.
Totally
Yeah.
booked out.
What about that place? What do they call it?
Dharma.
Yeah, what's that place? The Dam? What do they call it? Dam? Bhakti Dam?
Bhakti Dham.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
Now you're at Bhakti
Then
Dham.
I think you're okay.
You're okay.
Go to the
temple,
kirtan every
sit in
evening.
that kirtan.
Go to the kirtan every evening in the temple.
Okay, I'm going to go there soon, but I want to say thank you. You guys sent me on this trip from 3 years ago when I started this with you guys from the beginning. For Raghu and this is today and Shelter and Bigger Than 1,000 a long time ago.
Wow.
All right, he's hardcore.
Hardcore.
All right, Evan, at your service.
Thanks
Thanks for
but
sharing.
I'll be in
This
contact.
just in, Banjo Mike says on the message board, the Foxfire Books is where he learned how to make banjos
Get out.
and moonshine.
And moonshine. Let's just
Yeah, I
keep
mean,
it
it's
at
not-
the
it's- they
maple
don't
syrup
follow
level.
The Foxfire Books do not follow the 4 regular principles. There's also like how to skin a beaver, but
Okay, we
it's-
don't want to do that.
we
I
don't
mean,
do
if
that.
a dead beaver, maybe you have to do that kind of thing sometimes, so you don't kill the
yes,
beaver.
yes. Let's not end with.
Thank you,
skinning
Evan.
beavers.
Good luck out there.
Evan. Good luck in the Dom and Banjo Mike. Thanks for sharing, and we'll get together then, son. We'll know we'll have a good time then. Hey, here's Grandma Terry. Hey, Grandma. How are you? Hold on a second. Here
Let's
she
get Grandma
is.
Terry.
Where is she? Wave, Mom, but don't lose your. Hi.
Shit.
You're on, Mom. Say hello. She says hi, everybody. She's doing good. She's doing very, very good. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow. Haribo.